Doug Gottlieb Show here on Fox Sports Radio, and our next guest was a hooper growing up in Cincinnati, and he played a little bit of football at Notre Dame, and and a couple other places in the NFL. And he's Kyle Rudolph, who joins us on behalf of the Taste of the NFL. What's Taste of the NFL?
So Taste of the NFL is actually the biggest fundraising event Super Bowl week. So an incredible opportunity that brings food and football together. I mean, you can't be in New Orleans without food. So it's an incredible opportunity for us. I serve on the board of a national nonprofit called Gen Youth, and we are the beneficiary of Taste of the NFL. And basically what Gen Youth does is they'll take the revenue raised from Taste of the NFL and then deploy it into schools all across the country, obviously very centrally located here in the New Orleans community, and really working on the fight to end student hunger. So many of the kids in our country depend on school for their meals, and as we knew growing up as athletes, like you need to fuel your body properly, and we never really had to worry about where our next meal was.
Sure.
You just, I have breakfast before I go to school, have lunch at school, have dinner at home. And for a lot of kids in our country, actually 1 in 5 kids in our country, that's not the case. And it seems so crazy to think about in America that's the case, and it's right here in our backyard. So Taste of the NFL is an incredible opportunity. If you're here in New Orleans, you can come check it out from 4 to 7 on Saturday. Go to tasteofthenfl.com to get tickets. And the food is incredible, Doug.
Sure.
Like, I can't wait. Like, I won't eat all day on Saturday for that.
I got to ask you one food question.
Yeah.
Cincinnati guy.
Yeah.
Did you see that Skyline Chili and Grater's ice cream are combined?
Yeah.
Have you tried it?
I have not tried it yet. So my college roommate, Mike Golick Jr., is a diehard Grater's. He's actually here, and he had a package delivered from Grater's to his set. So he tried it. He said it's interesting. The
interesting is not actually. It's a.
I would say interestingly good. Like, you wouldn't expect chili and ice cream and like oyster crackers crushed up in ice cream to be good, but he said it's really the cinnamon flavor that's in the chili is kind of highlighted in the ice cream. So it's like basically vanilla, cinnamon, and then some crackers. You get a little crunch from the cracker. So I have not tried it yet. Excited to try it.
Favorite, or the thing you're most looking forward to in terms of Cajun, New Orleans cuisine? Is there something that you're like, man, I'm really excited about? Because I did have some. I haven't had the gumbo yet. I did have some grits this morning.
Yep. So one of the menu items is shrimp and grits on Saturday. Love grits, love shrimp. Super excited for the shrimp and grits. Obviously, that's a New Orleans staple. Brennan's will be out. Anytime we played here in New Orleans, we always went there for dinner the night before the game. So New Orleans is rolling out the red carpet for us on Saturday. They're bringing out all the top restaurants, all the top chefs. It's truly one of my favorite events because of the incredible food. But then when you look at the impact that's made from the event, it's pretty cool, too, to see that. The big game's going to happen on Sunday. The Super Bowl is going to be played. There will be a winner. But what this event allows us to do is leave an impact far beyond the game for many years to come.
All right, I got a bunch of other things to get to. Kelsey, you guys are all kind of cut from the same cloth, right?
Yeah.
You guys are all really good basketball players.
Ohio guys.
All Ohio guys, right? But even the non-Ohio guys, even the Tony Gonzalez's of the world. I mean, Antonio Gates is a hooper, right?
Jimmy Graham.
Was Antonio Gates Ohio? Because he was Kent
State,
right?
Yeah.
So, but all like 6'4" to 6'6", and it's weird where, so much of our perception as fans is it's about athleticism and athletic ability getting open, but sometimes the older you guys get, the better you get, even though you don't run as fast or cut nearly as sharply. How does it work that tight ends like yourself, and obviously Kelsey we're going to see, how does it work that you guys are kind of fine wine, seem to get better with age?
Oh, I always joke around. It's great. Like, you can't lose something you never had. So, like, my whole life I had to figure out how to get open without being fast.
It's not like you were slow. You were, not football fast.
Yeah, so I think basketball, we just talked about all the guys that were basketball players, had a basketball background. Think about, coordination in space and body position. Like, that's the whole, especially back when we played basketball. Now it's stand around the three-point line and shoot as many threes as you possibly can. But back in the day, get in the paint, get in the lane, be able to grab a rebound, put it back. Like, that's the tight end position. You've got to be able to use your body, work in tight areas, box out a defender, do things that really translate. And I think Travis does it better than anyone I've ever seen. And obviously his statistics indicate that. His ability to understand defenses and what they're trying to do to take him away, speed has nothing to do with him getting open. And he has the ability of finding holes in defense. I think I was just on with a Philly local radio, and they're talking about the defense and all the zone that they play. I'm like, Travis is going to have 10 catches, 12 catches, maybe more, because no one is better than him and Patrick in terms of being on the same page. They might have a corner route called, but there's a defender standing there in the deep third. Well, why would I run to the corner? I'm just going to stop right here. Pat's going to throw him the ball. So I think that the ability to be able to use your body, make catches in tight windows. You're not going to run by anyone anymore because you can't run as you get older. But you see Tony Gonzalez, Antonio Gates, those guys. I think Tony retired on like a 94 catch season. It's just like Trav had almost 100 catches this year. It's like these guys, I never had years like that, but these guys are doing unbelievable production late in their career. And it's really just their ability to understand defenses.
What's it like to watch on a Sunday and having walked away?
I really enjoy it because
Really?
I was ready to walk away. I was fortunate to be a guy who played long enough that I got to make the decision. I think when the decision is made for you and either your body can't do it anymore, the phone stops ringing, there's all these other circumstances that take the game away from people. I was fortunate. I sat down with my wife and we made a decision that we had moved around the last couple of years, and ultimately we're probably going to move again if I wanted to keep playing. And there were opportunities to do it, but we were ready to be done. Got to play 12 years, had a ton of incredible moments and memories, and the game was so good to me. And to be able to walk away with your health, I can chase my kids and play with my kids and be around my kids more often now. So I love watching football. I was a fan way before I was a player, and now I've kind of just gone right back to that.
What was it like to watch the Domers this year?
Early on in the year, it's a little tough.
Well, first you had A&M, which was awesome.
Awesome, and
then you have Northern Illinois.
And here we are. It's like Notre Dame. Of course.
Yes.
You go on the road, you beat A&M, you come home. I actually called. I had the Minnesota Rhode Island game that day. So I'm in the booth at Huntington Bank Stadium in Minnesota calling the game, and I just keep checking my phone. I'm like, there's no way. It's the first half. We'll eventually pull away.
Yeah.
Our call ends. I check the end of the game, and I'm like, we just lost to Northern Illinois after beating A&M on the road, the most Notre Dame thing ever. And to watch them from that game on kind of just be like, you know what, forget what everybody's saying. We're going to go do our thing. We're going to get better each and every week. And then in the college football world now, you don't have to be the best team or the best two teams to get to the college football national championship. You've got to find ways to win games along the way. You got to be tough and gritty, and it's not just, hey, you get 5 weeks to prepare for one game. When we did that against Alabama, it did not favor us very well.
Sure.
They're going to roll us. But when you got to win 2 or 3 games to get to that opportunity, you just got to find ways to win. And I thought that was kind of what separated this Notre Dame team from the ones that had played in the college football playoff prior.
How big is the gap? You and I have talked about this, and I think everybody recognizes in your era that there was the gap.
There was a gap.
Right? Because there's at Notre Dame, you'd actually have to be a student athlete.
Yep.
And there's always going to be a difference, or there always had been a difference in terms of the overall level of athlete as opposed to Notre Dame. And you can even that playing field a little bit with cohesiveness, obviously toughness. The offensive line play has always been incredible. And then quarterback play, right? How big is the gap now?
I if there is a gap, it's marginal. I think, to me, the hardest part about the national championship was, we had 4 or 5 difference makers that had gotten banged up throughout. We'll have a first-round pick that was corner.
Well, that's the problem with the playoff that people don't focus on, which is to get there, you either have to win, was it 3 games?
Yeah.
Right? And every game Notre Dame lost a guy.
Yep, it was one of their best interior linemen against Indiana. Then it's the left tackle against Penn State. Benjamin Morrison, one of their best corners. It's like I would have loved to have him out there with Ohio State's receivers.
Well, the last big play of the game, best wide receiver should be going against the best cornerback.
Exactly, right? And so I think that the talent gap is not what we saw in 2013 when we had to play Alabama in the national championship, and it was over. I remember we had a bunch of guys at our house in Minnesota watching the game. We had just lost in the playoffs. We hadn't even sat down to get settled in to watch the game. We're like, okay, this is over. What are we going to watch now? So it's exciting. I'm a huge Marcus Freeman fan. What he's done there, how he represents the program, how he runs the program. It's exciting. It's a ton of fun to watch. I went to the game against IU on campus. Having a home playoff game was super cool. And then we were in Atlanta as well. And, the first drive, it's like, here we go. And then got a little dicey there, but they managed to make it close at the end. And unfortunately, we didn't have our best corner to cover the best receiver in the country on the last play of the game.
Yes, that has a tendency to hurt you. Okay. Taste of the NFL, where is it?
It's actually at the National World War II Museum here in New Orleans. So Saturday from 4 to 7, you can go to tasteofthenfl.com. Check it out, support. Otherwise, you can go to genyouth.org and just support our mission overall.
Kyle, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, Doug, always good to hang out with you.